officers and see if you could lower your mortgage rate. Now you can kick back and relax. Rest assured you're saving money. Apply online in minutes or learn more at regions.com/refi. Regions Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning again. Boy, I tell you, it's been really a tough one this morning. And even last night, it seems like attempts to do my live stream is becoming more and more difficult here. Uh, that's life, you take life as what it is. But I want to give a warm welcome. This is supposed to be my morning show that starts at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's a live stream, Fight CPS, with your host, Bob Pace, and Hang On to Your Children. And unfortunately, as I was halfway through my live stream this morning, and still morning, by the way, the computer went down. And that's been the story of my life for the last 6 months. I've been trying to save up money to get a computer. I have the money. I don't have the money, but I've worked the hours to get the money to get a new computer. But I've not been paid in a couple weeks, so it is very frustrating. Um, I work so hard uh, to try to help you all to take care of my family. And I want to tell you about the child protection system. That's what I call CPS, the child protection system. It's a government entity that's supposed to protect our children, mandated by Congress in 1962 to protect our children from neglect and abuse. Now, I do this live stream because I too was a victim of CPS, like all of you. I've been fighting them for 15 years. And unfortunately, it was really kind of hard. It was really, 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 really hard. And so, what I try to share with you all is my experiences as well as the experience of a couple. Well, I've talked to over 1,500 people in 22 countries, in 50 states, including Washington, D.C. And all of you that do come in here regularly, I'm glad to have you as part of my family. And you've learned a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for 18 months, and people are very successful. They've hired my attorney, Vincent Davis. Many of you have hired Mr. Davis. Many of you have heard Mr. Davis do his live stream. And I want to thank Mr. Davis. He is a marvelous attorney. He is schooled and educated, very professional in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He has live streams himself. He has a morning show at 6:30, and he helps you all with questions and answers from him. And he also helps defend a lot of you. Now, unfortunately, I'm with limited means in my life at this stage of the game, and my computer that I had for 7 years finally stopped working. So I've tried to use my son's computers because I'm trying to save up money to buy a new computer. And to buy a new computer, they're expensive, especially if you're trying to replace the one that you had. So I'm trying to get an i9, an 18-inch, also with a 1080 video card, a GPU, with 2 terabytes of a SSI, the hard drive, and then 34 gigs of RAM. And I don't know, I mean, some of the things there. But anyway, this particular computer is an Asus and ROG, and it's a multitask computer. And I'm trying to get Windows 11 Pro on it, because I had to get a new computer anyway, because Windows 10 is now not able Windows 11 to be put on my computer. So that's why I'm trying to hit for that direction. Anyway, back to CPS. That's what we're here for. It's a horrible thing for you to be suddenly have your family taken, your family members taken from you. I too had that horrible experience. I was forced by, um, I was forced to go to my home to open it up because after 5 years, the social workers were frustrated because they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And they've been to my home, by the way. They've been to my home many times. And I've showed every accusations incorrect. So this time they thought they'd be smart and have three social workers instead of one, two code enforcement, and five firemen, and two uniformed policemen, and the detective that tracked me down. Now, I just picked up my son from school, young, beautiful child, and he was uh, he was 9 at the time, and so I had to. Uh, okay, 9 or 10. I keep thinking that I get my ages kind of confused. So yeah, he was 9. He was 9. He's now 19. So this has happened 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. But here they are in front of my home, and maybe a lot of you can relate to this. Maybe a lot of you can relate to this. He was in my home. I mean, they were in my home, which was a beautiful home. It's a very expensive home. I lived at the beach. I had a wonderful job in 2010, which is 15 years ago. And I could afford that home for my family. Each child had their own bedroom, own bath. It was a huge ceilings, a huge yard, private, very, 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 very private. And um, I had to deal with these individuals. And I did not know my rule number 3 is one, you never talk to social workers. Two, you just give them your name and you do not show them your home, even to the policeman. Now, these firemen were searching my home and tracking mud and dirt. All of them were dressed in combat gear like they're going to go to war. Now, I'm well respected in my neighborhood. I'm well respected. The city has actually engraved my name in their sidewalks. You can see my name in front of the one of the local surf shops. I live in Surf City, USA. And yeah, my background has been surfing. I've been a long time surfer. I'm 75 now, so a lot of my friends are gone. But I can relate to what you're going through and the experiences. So here are these so called professionals ransacking my house looking for something. They didn't have enough information on me. Well, just recently, my dad died. I love my dad. My mom was dying too. So my parents were pushed to sell their home by my sister. And the belongings they asked for me, can you take our belongings? They had a 3,000 square foot home, which I did too, but that's a lot of belongings. So my young daughter, who, you know, is one family member that's been stolen by CPS. I hurt with that. And I'll tell you about that story there too. So it is it is hard. It is hard. Uh, um, she was 11 at the time. Anyway, we went to my parents' house to get the belongings, and I had lost my job in 2010 through no fault of my own. State of California is go bankrupt. They owed me $63 million worth of construction work that I had been on public work jobs for the Department of Transportation. And the governor at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who you guys all know, was doing creative financing. He took my $63 million and wrote an IOU on public funds. Now, I could have fought him in a lawsuit, but I didn't. Because of the advice of my owner, I didn't own the company. We were general contractors, and we wanted to improve the roads of the state of California. And the reason why I'm talking about this is sort of give you a background about me. That I was a professional. I was hardworking. I worked 60 hours a week. I provided for my family. We had Disneyland passes, season passes. We traveled the world. We were unfortunate. But CPS was determined, based on the allegations from my wife's mother and father and her three sisters and her brother. They all didn't like us, they didn't like her. I knew that from day one when I met my wife 32 years ago. And unfortunately, they've been after our kids forever, ever since we had three beautiful kids. Now, I've helped raise 6 children. I have 3 older ones that have families, and they weren't involved, but they have a falling out with us as a family. So we don't really see our 3 older children, which is sad. My 2 sons do because I encourage them. I always encourage families. And that's another thing. CPS breaks and destroys families. They break and destroy families. And, oh, thank you, Christina Reynosa. I am so sorry on my show today. For some strange reason, I have this cloud. I'm like that Peanuts character, which I don't know what his name is, but he always had a cloud, a dark cloud that follows him. And my computer that I'm using, my son's computer, shut down. And when you don't have your own computer and using somebody else's, there's settings that they've set. So I didn't know what was happening. So I finally got the restart, and I had to go through recovery mode. But I lost a lot of valuable time on my morning show. I'd recorded about a half an hour. And my show producer didn't see me for a couple of minutes and shut the show down. I guess you can't leave a show going with nobody in it. And it was through no fault of my own. I lost power. And I right away alerted her, but I guess she didn't read it or whatever. But going back to my CPS case, is my daughter at the age of 11 went with me because my other 2 sons, which I don't understand, but they had other things to do. They didn't want to go up there to do work. I guess I spoiled a lot of my kids too much. That's one thing as families, you got to be careful of loving them too much. I always tried to provide my family with more than I have when I grew up from my dad and mom. I love my dad and mom. They're beautiful parents. And what I did is my last thing my dad wished is to take the belongings that they have accumulated in 55 years of marriage. That's a lot of belongings. And unfortunately, I'd first placed them on a pallet in front of my garage with tarps over it. Well, the private neighborhood didn't like that, so I had to move it in the house. Well, if you can imagine putting 33,000 square feet of belongings in your house, and your house is big, is it? So I filled the living room with boxes and furniture, and it was organized, and I would sort through them and send them off. Well, unfortunately, that's where they nailed me. After searching my house, the firemen found nothing wrong. They checked the smoke detectors, the fire extinguishers. They said everything looked fine. I have central vacuum. The house is so modern. And so I had refrigerators and food and cupboards and everything. But my in-laws were so adamant that we were not taking care of our children. They wanted our children. We'd fly them back for visits, and they'd quiz them and talk to them. My wife's family is very corrupt, very mean, and that's true because there's a lady in here named Felicia who's cruel on YouTube. That's her YouTube name. And her family has turned against her. Her mom and her live in the house. Her brother now has ousted them out of the house. They invade their mail. So, families out there, if you're listening, there are families that do go through ruin another family members, and that's bad. Hi there, Larry Gene. And he says, "Hey, Darren, Gene here. I'm not Darren, I'm Bob Pace. Um, look, the create employment control, I bet this is what they're doing, forcing everyone in their systems. I have no idea. This is a room about the child protection system. If you have a case with CPS, I'd love to hear from you. Also, please tell me your first name, which is Laird, that's great, your city or county, your state, and if you're from a country, because I do have 22 countries and all 50 states include Washington, D.C. Gosh, cruel and unusual. Can you sue the in laws? I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'm not very addictive. I should have sued the state of California when I lost my job. When I lost the $63 million, they were going bankrupt like the city of Detroit was in 2010. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was very fond of cigars and loved to have his bedwood tent in the foyer or whatever, just thought it was really clever financial to take that money. And it's sad. It's sad. But there's corruptness everywhere. And the person I should have sued right there. But it's kind of like a domino effect with me. When you lose a job at age 60, your family starts to wonder what you're going to do because somehow they think people at age 60 are dinosaurs. Now, I'm 75 years old, and I've got two jobs since 2010. The first one lasted a good year. I was manager of a construction company, but the owner got pancreas cancer and died. He's 15 years younger than me, and he died. And the new owner didn't want me as the manager of the company. So I was out the door without a job. The next job I got was from a friend of mine that has the CEO of a company up in Santa Barbara, a project managing company, a great guy. Him and his assistant were two really great people. And they always said, you could come and work for us. We'd love to have you. So I called them up and they hired me. And it was great. But they shipped me up to Northern California. So I had to fly home to my family every weekend. And soon I was doing work up there in Pittsburgh, up in Northern California. And I went through all those jobs. I did one job to remodel the California Theater up there. I did a couple freeway jobs, expressway, street jobs, anything in civil engineering. And I don't know how remodeling a theater is, but I'm willing to do anything unusual. I've done a lot of LA. If you look at the Chinese Grauman Theater, that whole street there, Hollywood Boulevard and Vine to La Brea, I guess is the part there. I did all the artwork there. I did a lot of things. So I'm a really talented guy. And you probably wonder what this does with anything. I'm just trying to tell you how hard it is with this domino effect, everything going down. And Laird, if you have something you'd like to talk about, the child protection system, please do so. So anyway, this domino effect is really coming on because the point of the CPS is they're ruthless. The Orange County Child Protection Services, CPS, there is very corrupt from the director all the way down to the social worker. My social worker didn't even have a high school education. She was young in her early 20s. She had no background with families. And here she is judging my family. My, two boys and my daughter were living at home. And my family was destroyed. They were taken into a shelter that was so terrible. It was next to the prison, the Orange County Juvenile Prison. Their play yard was adjoining it. There was beehives so the children could get stung. The place had rats and roaches. The food was terrible. The sleeping. My children were taken from a comfortable bedroom in a class all day they spent at school to that kind of an environment. Now, We had my wife's sister, for some reason, her husband wanted to help us out by taking care of the children, but they thought it'd be only a month. They did not know this whole thing was going to last for years. So they can only handle our children for about a month. So then we put them in a group home. But this thing went on and on and on. The detective made his report to the district attorney, and the city decided to do charges, criminal charges, the same charges that CPS was doing. But CPS says, we're not going to do anything until your criminal charges are done. So I'm trying to tell you out there, be careful. They can do two things to you. CPS can make up stories and they can lie, they can cheat. They're good at doing that. They're good at doing that. I know from experience. They're not transparent, and it's a money making business. It's trillions of dollars, not billions, not millions, trillions. So if you can imagine what $1 trillion is. So that being said, there, let me see here. Um, anyway, that was my show producer, who I really appreciate. Her name is Grace, and she does a lot behind the show, and she tries to do her job. I don't understand her job. So there's lots of policies and things that I'm not left to. But I'm glad to be able to do this live stream with you and share you stories and things that will help you. I've developed 5 rules, and Christina knows them. Christina Rose has been in a long time. Laird, are you still there in my room, or have you gone some other place? I think somehow you ended up in the wrong room. Somebody named Darren, and you sent me a link, and I'm not going to check the link because I don't want to. I don't know what that is for. It says Health Apps HS. It's a government agency, so anyway, I do get a lot of people that come in here that want to do political things in my room, and it's not for political thing. I know we have a really new president and all radical things going, and he's investigating social services. See, social services is the agency responsible for the child protection system. In 1962, Congress mandated that social services protect our children from abuse and neglect. So they created the child protection system. Every county in every state has a different name. Like in LA County, California's Department of Children and Family Services. And next door, as I told you, in Orange County, it's Orange County Child Protection Services. Um, no, I'm sorry, it's the Child Protection Services, not Orange County, but Child Protection Services. I know in Prescott, Arizona's Department of Children's Services, and in Kentucky, it's the cabinet, because we had a long time uh, member here, um, Faith, Faye, who has been recovered from a several double case of pneumonia, which is tough because she lives in a place where I guess it's cold and wet and stuff, and she's struggling. A lot of you are struggling, and I feel for you. I can compassion with you. I know what it is to be involved in CPS. I know how hard and tormented it can be. But I have tried to help a lot of you. A lot of you have been helpful for me. I've told you about my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, who is trained and skilled in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those are the 3 areas of law that you need to have an attorney fight for you. And I told people that it's like open heart surgery. You need an attorney. In open heart surgery, you're not going to have a plumber do it. You yourself are not going to do it. A neighbor isn't going to do it. You're going to get a professional doctor. You have to do the same thing in the child protection system. CPS was an awful agency for me to go through. Now, I'm not saying everywhere it's bad, but there's at least 1,500 people that have texted in here or called in here. There has been. Now, these 22 countries, starting from Indonesia to Bangladesh to Libya to Saudi Arabia, over to Africa to Liberia to Sudan to Republic of Congo to Rwanda to Mozambique to two provinces in South Africa, up to Europe, England, Scotland, and Wales, across the pond to North America to four provinces in Canada, all 50 states, and District of Columbia. Then south of the border, Mexico, and then north of South America, north of Brazil, I should say, in South America, on the east coast, a country called Grenada. And a lot of you may have heard Grenada in the news, but that's where we have a prison there for Middle Eastern or radical people. Then we go over to the Pacific, and we've had New Zealand, and it was a Maori lady there, a very nice Maori lady. A lot of indigenous people, by the way, are involved in CPS. And of course, land down under, Australia with two states. When I said indigenous people, I'm talking about the First Nation people of Canada and the Native American Indians of, of the United States. They're the first immigrants. They came over via the land bridge in Alaska, so they settled there. Yes, I'm giving a little bit of geography, I'm giving things, but I'm trying to make this interesting because a lot of this has pertinent information with your case. The Native American Indian had a special act that was passed called the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, which mandated that the child protection system turn over Indian children to reservations so that they could help those children with family reunification. See, the key to success is called family reunification, but Bill Clinton changed that. Our president, he signed into law the incentive law that says we're going to give those child protection systems extra money for having them adopted in foster care. So there was a takeaway from the takeaway from family reunification to adoption and foster care. Now, not all foster care is bad, but there are a lot of them are bad. I have a foster care mother. Her name is Betty Joe. She's from Montana. She's trying to get her niece, her brother's daughter, back home from Nebraska to Montana. And she's a very sweet foster mother. She does not treat her kids bad. She does not want to adopt them. Her goal is to give a loving home. And she's demonstrated that. She had a case of a 4-year-old boy whose parents were killed, about 2 months ago on a Friday night in a car accident. She took him in and she's had him, and now he's being adopted by a family. But he keeps in touch with her. He calls her mom. That's how sweet this lady is. And he calls to check in on her and tell him he's all right. I mean, that's the kind of foster parents you want out there. I believe there are good foster parents. I've talked to several other foster parents. I have talked to a social worker. Anyway, um, I'm trying to regain my composure here because last night I was trying to do my live stream. It's scheduled for 7. I requested it to be moved to 8 o'clock because I had what was called a Zoom meeting with another organization I volunteer for called the Committee of 300. Its groups helps man the grandstands at the Long Beach Grand Prix, which I've been doing for 50 years. This last week was the 50th year. Anyway, um, I had this Zoom meeting. So my show producer said, okay. But then she wrote back that Vincent messed up his show this morning or yesterday morning at 6:30 in the morning. He has a live stream. That's my attorney. He's schooled in the area of juvenile law, dependency law, and family law. He is really excellent for fighting CPS. He's gotten back thousands of children, and he's been doing this for 39 years. Also, he does civil lawsuit when your case is over, and he has won millions of dollars. So he's the real deal. I just gave a quote the other day to a lady of Brentwood that wanted to do a lawsuit, and it involves the FBI, the Interpol, and United Kingdom, and the United States. So I'm trying to tell you, Vincent Davis is a remarkable man. He will undertake anything, and he does a lot of his free time because he cares about you all. He's a great attorney, and it is really behooves you to think about an attorney. He's the one. And my number there, 888-888-6582, is the law offices. There you get all kinds of things. You get schedule of live streams by various people. I have KK Richardson in New York, does a live stream on Monday. I have Deidre does a live stream on Wednesday. I have Mrs. G. I have lots of people who do live streams that try to help out. There really is. This office is good. We're over in Arcadia, California. That's in Los Angeles area. And you can stop in and see Mr. Davis. But he'll go out and work any state. He has cases in Missouri and Oklahoma and New Jersey, Pennsylvania. He has many, many different areas of expertise. The only difference between working in like LA County or Orange County or San Bernardino or Riverside, he's here so he can use his own car and he can live in his own place. But if he has to go to another state, he needs money for airfare, ground transportation to get to and from the airport to the hotel and to and from the courtroom, and he needs a hotel and food because a lot of those things aren't there. So, in addition to his typical legal fees, which are $500 an hour, is his charge, and for LA County, his retainer is $5,000. That's approximate $5,000. So that gives you a kind of idea of what a retainer is. Now, retainers can be expensive. I know that. And I know most of you don't. I didn't either. Unfortunately, I had to sell my home to get the money to hire Mr. Davis to get my children back. And I was successful except for one child. And that still hurts me today, that one child, because that social worker, if you really want to know what a social worker is like, she retaliated. She's very young, very inexperienced, and she, didn't even finish high school. And all she talked about were the bonuses that she get from her boss. And her boss I met. He works out of the Taj Mahal of a kind of style building. It looks like the Emerald City of Oz. It's very tall, very luscious, just for him. His workers work in very typical, simple buildings, simple interior. But when you go to his Taj Mahal, I mean, it's like a president palace. I mean, Trump would like it. Anyway, that's where the money goes. It goes to bonuses. It's $20,000 a month per child. I had 3 children, so they were getting $60,000 from the state, who in turn gets it from the federal government. The federal government sends billions to the state. The state sends millions to the county. There's no accountability. Example, in Richmond, Kentucky, there is a loss of $1 million. They found one of the workers, the social worker, embezzled the funds. That was $500,000. So there's still another 500 missing. So I'm trying to tell you is that you got to be careful there. I do want to put up some things up here that help you understand what you can do in this room. You can text me a message here. It can be either a comment or a question and should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, your state, and of course the country. And I've already told you the countries, 22 of them, and there's 50 states. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at, That way I can help you. Also, it gives me consensus of where there's pockets of bad ones. Now, I've talked to everybody. I've talked to the Lakota Sioux Nation, the reservation called the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. I've talked to other Indian tribes in Oklahoma, several tribes there. The Cherokee, by the way, are located in Oklahoma. A lot of things happened in 1875. If you look at the history of protecting our children, it goes back 200 years, 300 years. No, 400 years? When are we now? Okay, it's over 400 years. We've been trying to protect our children. It started in the colonial days in the 1600s. There's a recorded incident of a child being abused. Anyway, the child protection system is given three timelines. First timeline is from 1600 to 1875. That was the first part of CPS. And some things happened during that time. But in 1875, that's when the reservations were getting inundated with Indians. They were sitting there saying the Indian people don't deserve to be free. Their way of life isn't acceptable to the European way of life. I mean, that's who settled the United States, are the Europeans. I mean, the first ones were the Vikings, and they didn't settle it. They were the second Native Americans. I mean, the second people to discover America. And Christopher Columbus did. He was down in the West Indies, and he called indigenous people Indians because he thought he was in India. That's how the name Indian got. That's how it sticks with the native Indians. But they're called indigenous people. That means people that, had grown up for thousands of years and what we as Europeans say are primitive means. But to me, I think a lot of the American Indians, their way of doing the life, the land, the use is very modernized. Just because they don't eat with forks and spoons and today have computers doesn't mean they're bad people. There are still indigenous people living around the world. If you go to the jungles of Brazil or go to the jungles of a lot of the tropical islands, you still find people that still do headhunting. It's our world is a very amazing place. But what's so amazing to me is I'm a world traveler. I've traveled to for 25 years. I lived out of a bag, chasing surfing contests and fighting the endless wave there. And I find that the world is small because I've been to so many countries, and I have this wealth of information that I can share with you. That's what makes it so good for me because I've developed 5 rules that that will help you with your case. Now, another way of interacting with this live stream is you can be a guest, and I love to have you as a guest. I've had couples on here. I've had 3 or 4 people. One time I think they're all were from Canada. I had 4 Canadians on here, and people do call me from other countries. I've had Africa, country code 27, and I've had England, country code 44, and so anyway, um, it's been a very interesting. My life has been there, and so I'm here. If you have a question or have something that you'd like to talk about, I will. I will help you. I also talk about a lot of topics in here. A lot of topics in here. So um, anyway, to be a guest, all you're going to do is write an email to Grace, vincentwdavis.com, and she will help you. She will help you. And she'll give you the link to get on StreamYard. That's the software application I use. And I'm broadcasting on YouTube. And so I really love to see you as a guest. I can take 9 of you. And the times you pick, I'm on 14 times a week. I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Then on Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Then in the evening, I'm on all 7 days at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Now, I do let you know if I have different times because sometimes I have family commitments. You have to understand, in the 18 months I've been on here, I've never missed a day. I've made up shows, made different times. Like even today, when I was shut down because of computer failure, I'm redoing my 10 o'clock podcast, you know, later. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it there. So,
Oh, wow. How many people can be selected for that?
Probably one every year.
Wow.
Only one every year.
Whoa.
So there's 5 categories, and we're at one of them.
um,
So what you want to do is you want to look up the sheet that I put down the bottom. All the guys that are already in, right?
I'm over on the third.
Well, yeah, but you want to look at the guys on the bottom because they all get the vote. Once you read it, you get the vote.
Oh, okay.
So what you make on the bottom, you want to look down there and pull on your mates up and tell them, vote for me.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because the rest of the voting people are all people, administrators, like heads of the organizations like the WSA, or current administrators, or editors of the magazines, stuff all over the world.
Bottom category. Okay.
Yeah, so you want to look down the bottom of that sheet I sent you.
Okay.
And call up all your mates. like Chewy and Downey and all those guys all get the vote. Bob Marvis, right, they all get the vote.
I don't know about the way I'm losing weight.
okay. Another way is I can take phone calls. I can do phone calls. To call me, all you have to do is do 626-698-0990. That's Bob Pace, and you can call me there. That works out really, really great. Okay, let's see here. We have somebody named Barkley. Yay, Barkley, I'm so glad to see you. There's one of my regulars. I've been looking for you. Yes, you can call me right now, Barkley. My number's just up. Thank you for asking. Barkley's been on me for a long time, and she is going to call in and let her do some talking as they hear my voice. But again, I'm sorry for this morning show being delayed through no fault of my own. I am trying to get that computer bought. I have had looked at ones. I think I've found one that I'd like, but like everything else, with the prices are going up because there's a shortage of CPUs, central processing units. So that has made prices go up. Also, with the tariffs in place, they've jacked up computers. It seems like even though the tariffs are come and go, people are using an excuse to make money off people. All right, this may be Barkley. Good morning and welcome. This is Bob Pace on live stream. Who am I speaking to? Hey, Bartley from Montana. Glad to hear your voice. I haven't talked to Betty Jo in a while, but what do you have to tell us today?
Well, I have to tell you guys that I just got informed today that there is a family engagement meeting. And when I read it, it said everybody else was informed last Thursday. And so my son and his birth father, we will be discussing birth father's plan to care for my son while he is working.
Okay.
So
Question.
you're not doing anything with us.
Right. Question. You gave some acronyms. I don't know what that means. FEP, whatever you said. What's that?
I think the FEM stands for the Family Engagement Meeting, but the
Okay.
PPT, I don't know what that stands.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it up. I can't. My computer. Oh, it's so frustrating. When I get the computer going, I will look it up there. But the family engagement meeting is something that Montana uses. Now, is that like a safety plan meeting, or what's the whole purpose of the meeting?
Well, what I'm reading is that it says what they wrote this little paragraph. The meeting's about the FEM, which is a family engagement meeting, and PPT. I don't know what that means for my son and his birth father. It says, and then we will be discussing birth father's plan to care for my son while he is working. And this man's a truck driver. He doesn't even live in Montana. He bases out of Connecticut.
Well, wait a minute. I'm kind of confused with your case. Was this, if I'm not mistaken, was this the man that raped you?
Yes, sir. That would be him.
Right. Because you had told me that you now have a relationship with a stepfather, another man, and your child was taken from you by the birth father. Is that what happened?
No, the stepfather's been there since my son's been in the womb, and no, the department came in, I guess got a warrant and busted down my door.
Well, okay, where is the child right at the moment?
He's in a foster home when I had written a note for the stepfather to be able to be placed there, and they just took him and put him in a foster home.
And what was the rationale? What was the rationale for not being placed with the stepfather? What was their reasoning?
The only thing I'm hearing is the caseworker said they found it on him in 2020, but they won't say what founded means. And this man has never been arrested, has no record. He's a good man, and the biological father has a record and is abusive.
Okay. Now, will you have an attorney to go to this meeting with you?
That's funny, Bob, because I have the public defender, and the neat thing was after she wrote me this morning about this meeting that they all got last Thursday, though, but I'm just finding out today that she won't be able to make it because she has doctor's appointment.
Well, what you got to do, you need to go right at the beginning of the court, approach the judge. You need to sit there and say, Your Honor, my attorney cannot make here. I ask for a continuance of this meeting into my attorney's present. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're going to have to stop it. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
then.
they have a person that leads the meeting.
You're right. You need to ask that person that you want to make a continuance. Tell them that you just received notification of the meeting today. And tell that person that's chairing the meeting, whoever that person is, that you want a continuance. Doesn't mean you don't want to have the meeting not take place, but if your attorney's not present, you have a right for all legal matters to have an attorney present. So you tell them you want a continuance. Now, they may be in cahoots with CPS. I don't know what this entity is because I've never heard of this family engagement meeting. And this PPC means probably permanent placement of children. That's what you said, PPC? What is it? What is it again?
PPT, like Tom.
Yeah. Oh,
but it probably is permanent placement, but I don't know what the T stands for.
Children.
No, it's a T, like in Tom.
TTC?
P as in Paul, and then like Tom.
Okay, so it's permanent placing, and I don't know what the T is standing for. Well, you can ask the person in the meeting. What does C stand for?
Okay.
Or T stand for? Yeah, so you got three things. You're going to ask for a continuance. You have every right to do it because you're represented by counsel. And does this person who's chairing the meeting, who do they work for?
Oh, yeah, they said that like 15 people are on this list that are supposed to be in this meeting. And this meeting's today at 2:30.
All right, well, you need to get
It's
going.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, you need to get going here, so you don't want to talk too long.
1 o'clock, though, Bob?
Yeah.
Bob, at 1 o'clock, the public defender is supposed to be calling me. And that's in like 6 minutes.
All right.
She's gonna talk to me and I'm gonna let it out, but
You need to tell the public defender they got to have a continuance of this meeting because you need him there. You need your public defender there to defend you. Now, if you're not going to use the public defender, you need to hire an attorney, which you don't have the finances, but you can also be pro se. But I don't know this meeting's. I mean, you need some time to prepare for the meeting. Finding out about the meeting the day of the meeting is not giving you sufficient time. So there's two reasons why you need a continuance. One, you need your attorney present, and two, you need time to prepare for the meeting because you're just notified today.
yeah, okay.
And you need to have it also in writing, right on a scratch of paper. Tell them verbally the person and hand them the letter. Make sure you make a copy of that letter.
Okay.
You just have to make some statements of facts. You can take a piece of printer paper, some white sheet of paper, handwrite it, put the date, put what the case is. You can have it real simple. You can have who it's to, whoever the person is chairing the meeting. Then you can have the the name of the agency, which is probably the Child Protection Agency, put this on. Then it's attention to Joe Schmuck, and then you put the reference. You put your case, which is your CPS case, and then you put your subject, and your subject is what this meeting's for. All right, there's four things you need to put on a piece of paper. Well, five things. You need to put the date. You put the date. You put who it's to, what the name of the agencies, who it's attention to, the person of the meeting, and you need to reference your case, and then you need to put subject. It's to dot dot attn dot dot refr dot dot and subj dot dot, and then you write that stuff out. Then below that, you put you request a continuance due to two things. One, you need your attorney present, and two, you need uh, more time because you're notified was the day of the meeting, and then you sign your name. Just sign sincerely and your name, okay? And since your man you're with, put his name also because it's very important that you two are a team. So you always should include him, and he should be present at the meeting too.
Yes.
He has every right to because he's a part of kinship. He has established a relationship. Anybody that's with the child is kinship. A teacher, anything like that. You can always bring them in. They're part of it. Now, this child is in foster care because he cannot be with you. And the reasons why he cannot be with you is why? You're raped? I mean, what is the reason why they
The paperwork says, because we were not seeing for 4 days.
You're not doing what? You're not doing what?
They did not see me or my son, I guess, for 4 days. And that's to go get a warrant.
Now, when you say you're not seen, what do you mean seen? Were you off visiting a friend or family? I mean, what was the reason why they couldn't see you?
Actually, we were in the house. It was Arctic freeze up here in Montana, and everything was cold, and we were.
So what they did is they knocked on the door. You didn't answer, which is right. Did they leave any paperwork when they knocked on the door?
No, I never got a copy of the warrant either.
So they're probably fixing all that, making all that up. Okay. A good attorney would reverse and change it to you, but all right. I'm starting to understand more as I talk to you, Barkley. I'm glad you called because I can help you with this meeting. For all you listeners out there, this is what I do. I help out families that need help. I'm not an attorney, but I'm very wise in my thinking. And I've done a lot of business, and I know about writing letters and meetings. I know how to chair meetings. I know about meetings and stuff. So they're doing their part to try and analyze it, but they're also milking the system because they're getting money from the state, millions of dollars, to handle your case. So That's why they're doing all this. And so you got a rough one. So do what I tell you. That will help you. And then tell me later tonight, if you can,
Okay.
tonight at 7 p.m. my time, Pacific
Okay.
time, and see
All
if
right.
that can help you there. Because it's important. Take good notes. Don't argue with them. Be professional and polite. A lot of times people want to argue, but you be professional
Right.
and polite.
Okay.
Is there anything else, Bartley?
I don't know. I'm just
You're discouraged. You're discouraged. I
yeah.
I know what the feeling is. A lot of you are like me. You go through life, and like I was saying earlier in my show this morning, that somehow lost. I feel like a cloud over my head all the time, like the Peanuts character. I forgot what his name was. I don't know if his name was called Dirty or whatever. The Peanuts
Oh
character
yeah.
that had the
Linus.
Linus. Yeah, I feel like Linus because his cloud is always following me. It's always disastrous because I've had a lot of them. I mean, yesterday I finally solved a problem that took me a year and a month to resolve a parking issue. I had a neighbor that didn't like me. I don't know why, but didn't like me. And because my car registration was expired through no fault of my own, it needed a new transmission. I didn't have money for a new transmission for the smog. And also, he says it's the mobile home. It isn't. It's the van.
Hey Bob. I
Yeah.
don't mean to cut you off, Steve. The vendor's calling.
All right. See ya. Bye bye.
Answer it.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, for all you listeners, that was Bartley. And if you want to know what this show's about, it's helping others. It's helping others. And um, yes, Crystal Salazar is in chat out of the blue, Travis. She's here. Hello, out of the blue, Travis. I sent a message to Grace and Vincent just now, to determine. I don't know what you mean by determinate. What did the message you sent to Grace and Vincent? Uh, good day. Travis says he's out of. Wait a minute. You're out of Phoenix, Arizona. That's right. To Vincent, Grace, fight CPS from Halo, an update on events in Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah, you're from Kansas City, Missouri. You're not from Phoenix. Things are ramping up here in Kansas City as I went to be resourceful to create currency to send to you and Vince. Okay. Um, and leave Kansas City as things have ramped up pretty intense of sabotage of the flatmate people attempting to provoke as I keep to myself concerning. Well, have you tried to locate your daughter yet? I remember, Travis, that you were going to do a missing person report or something. What's the latest there, Travis? Anyway, as you all can see, I help people. Travis is one of them. He's called in. Bartley is called in. And she lives with a man who was a step to her son since she was raped by her husband. Son was in the womb. Anyway, um, so we have about a minute and a half left because I want to give a full hour. So this is recorded so you can listen to it. And um, I want you all to know that it's been an interesting day and show, and I'm glad I got to do a good hour. So, with that being said, um, I want to thank all my listeners. I want to thank Crystal Salazar, who's here, been in the room. She's a longtime member. I want to thank Out of the Blue, who is Travis from Kansas City, Missouri. And I want to thank Bartley, who's from Montana. And we had a new person here called Larry Jean, but I don't know what Larry Jean was trying to promote. I think he was in the wrong room because he said, "Hi, Darren." And I'm Bob Pace. I do these shows twice a day. I've been doing it now for 18 months. And um, I hope to see you all tonight at at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when I'll be live. And I want to thank you all of you that made a part of this room. And God bless you. And whatever you do, do not stop fighting for your children. Be patient, respectful, and you will get your child back. I'll pray for you. God bless you and have a great day. This is Bob Pace signing off.